Yo YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Chris from Sonic Hub coming at you again with another bombshell video today. I'm sure some of you guys saw a lot of this on the internet. You guys have probably watched a bunch of videos on this. I'm going to give you a quick, concise breakdown about some of the bombshell news we just got about Sonic Rangers coming in 2022, maybe 2023. So someone by the name of It's Docky on Twitter just dropped a huge 15-minute video about Sonic Rangers 2022 leaks. And there's something a little bit different about this one. This isn't 4chan, this isn't some fake leak that we found on the internet and we all just ran with. This guy works for Tails channel and he says he knows someone that playtested the game. I respect it, I believe it, he put his face out there, he seems like a really good guy. It seems like this is information that is worth reporting on. So I'll give you guys a very, very quick overview. We also have some other stuff to talk about, and then I'll give you my thoughts about some of the leaks that he talked about. So one of the first things he talks about is that the game is still called Sonic Rangers, or at least that's the working title of the game. When you fire up the game, it's going to say Sonic Rangers and have the open world environment playing in the background. He also says that the game environments look gorgeous. I'm guessing it's going to be on par with Unleashed. Considering the advancements made in graphics and modern technology, I'm sure this game is going to look really good, and it's taken a long time to develop. But also one interesting thing he said is that it gives 06 vibes, which also is probably a really good thing. Sonic 06 was a very ambitious game, and we just know that it lacked the execution. He says that Sonic doesn't really fit in the environment. He also mentions that Sonic talks about how this might be Eggman's fault, that he's in this dystopian island kind of environment, and we'll get into that a little bit more about the environment. But like I said, I like that this is similar to 06. We need an ambitious title. We need something that's different, so I like how this sounds so far. But yeah, once again, he talks about how the game is going to be similar to Breath of the Wild, and he says that the enemies are actually very similar to the Breath of the Wild characters as well as Dark Souls. By all accounts, this game is going to be open world. It's going to be inspired by this game, and like I said, this is something that is great if they execute it properly. If it works to Sonic's abilities, this open world environment is going to be something that's sick. And speaking of 06 inspiration, he says that there's a tower you can go to in the open world where you can buy abilities. One of them being that aforementioned spin cycle and the light speed dash and things like that. So that is similar to 06, and I actually really like this concept. I feel like it's going to bring a little bit of life to the world and bring some utility to the game environment. He also said in the video that the combat was very simple according to the playtester. A little bit different than the button mashy leak that we heard, but I'm guessing because it's a playtest, you're not going to get the full range of abilities, so we'll just have to see how that develops. It is interesting though, he does say that you can kick and punch enemies, so we'll just have to see if that actually takes place in a Sonic game. In the leak, he also suggested there's going to be a change to Sonic's model. He says it's the best it's looked in 10 years, which probably dates back to Unleashed. So I'm guessing they're probably going to go back with that model, or at least a variation of it. And it's not going to look like the Forces model, which is definitely a good thing. Also, when talking about the open world, he says that the level design is something very similar to what we've seen in the past. I don't really know what that means, and he says it's very vague, but we can at least expect some of the platforming to be similar to what we've seen in previous Sonic games. Interestingly enough, he also talks about DLC and a season pass and maybe even expansion packs to make up for some of the cost of this very ambitious and high-priced game. This kind of refers back to the Iizuka interview that we talked about earlier, where he talks about they want to explore something like Battle Royale in an online multiplayer mode. Honestly, everything points to this game having some online multiplayer capabilities, and I'm cool with DLC being in the game as long as it's not stupid like adding Super Sonic and Sonic Forces. So once again, very promising, and an expansion pack. Maybe this game is a work in progress, and it'll keep continuing to develop as we play the game, which could be very interesting and very cool. And I say this is cool because the kids these days, they're playing Call of Duty Warzone, they're playing Fortnite, they're playing these games that have battle passes, and they're also playing with their friends. So anything that can make this game cool to play online and maybe encourage multiplayer and have cosmetics and stuff like that is a good thing, and they're definitely going to want to follow the trends of what makes these games successful. He also gets asked what game can this compare to other than Breath of the Wild. Interestingly enough, he says Sonic Jam and Banjo-Kazooie, and this is pretty cool. So basically in the open world, you're going to have to complete objectives and tasks before you can progress into the next level or zone or whatever. And I like this idea. I think it can be really good if it's executed properly. Most importantly, the open world physics and gameplay has to be really fun. Something else that's really cool about this game and very promising is he says the budget is going to be astronomical. He says that the game environment is going to have a map that's the size of Skyrim or Breath of the Wild. Obviously, the game has to account for Sonic's speed and moveset, so this is very good, and I feel like this ambition is something that's very good to return to because we have not seen this level of ambition since Sonic Unleashed. In the video, he also talks about how there might be a new form for Sonic that's inspired by Goku's Ultra Instinct. I really have no idea what this is, and I don't watch the show, so I can't really tell you much about it, but he said that this is possible, it could be in the game, but it also could be scrapped. So make of that what you will, but I definitely wanted to tell you that because he talks about it in the leak video. Another very promising and welcome addition is that they're not going to have Wisp in this game. I'm so happy about this, thank God. The Wisps are played out, we got to get rid of those. We got to move far away from anything that they've been doing recently over the last couple of years, and we got to start anew. Also, apparently rings are important again, so when you are boosting this game, and apparently boost is going to be in this game, if you run out of rings, you might lose some boost energy, and the Ghost Girl, which we've talked about in previous leaks, which all but confirms that those are true, will yell out Sonic, and she'll give you boost energy, or she'll give you rings. So that's something to keep in mind. This Ghost Girl is apparently apparently going to be in this game, so keep that in the back of your head for when this game actually releases. There's also another interesting thing he talks about in the leaks. He talks about the controls of the game, and this is what really stands out to me the most. It says you're going to have full 360 control of Sonic, and it's not going to be like Unleashed or Colors or like any of the boosting games, even though the boost is featured. So I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work. He says it controls somewhere in between Sonic Adventure and Lost World. He says specifically not like Lost World, so I am curious to see how this is going to play out. I do feel like one of the biggest things we need is smooth, fluid controls of Sonic. Especially in the open world, we really need something that takes advantage of his skill set. So it's really up in the air, but it sounds very promising and once again, very ambitious, and I'm very excited to see how this is going to flesh out. The last important thing he talks about is the cyberspace levels. So according to the leaks, the cyberspace levels are in the game. He says if you look at the CG trailer, it looks exactly how it's being presented. There is some type of cyberspace element to this game, and they're basically separate boosting levels. He says it's like Rockman EXE, and you get warped into the cyberspace levels, and basically they're like digital recreations of previous Sonic zones. So obviously there's a Green Hill clone, there's a Chemical Plant zone, and it's kind of like nostalgia pandering, but apparently if you get an S rank, you do get a Chaos Emerald. This means that Super Sonic is back. He says the levels were very fun, and once again, they're like your typical boosting levels. He didn't diverge much further into it, but one can imagine that these levels are very good in concept, and I have no problem with the boost returning as long as it's not the primary gameplay style. I just really do not want to see 2D in the 3D levels at all. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, as far as the Rangers leaks goes, that's all we got, and it seems very explosive, and I really do trust his source, and I feel like he is very genuine about his intentions. I think he really does know someone, and he is well connected. But once again, we always take it with a grain of salt, and we're always going to report it, and we'll always come back to one of these videos when we find out what the game really is. Last but not least, we have a quick update. Apparently Sonic Mania 2 has been confirmed canceled. I was scrolling on Twitter the other day, and I saw a verified source tweet out that the game was confirmed to be canceled. After doing a little bit more research, I saw it was actually Zippo who was behind the article, and not to discredit him or anything like that, but I know some people in the Sonic community feel a little uneasy about him. But what he's saying does make sense. Basically, I'll sum up the article for you. He says that the studio that's behind Mania is confirmed to be working on a different platformer, and internally with SEGA, they're having a lot of issues. So that's the reason why the game has been canceled, which I full-heartedly actually do believe. I don't think we'll be getting a second Sonic Mania. I've actually heard prior to this article that there was problems with the studio that made the game and SEGA. They're working on their own 3D platformer with their own protagonist, so it looks like the studio that was behind making Mania definitely has their sights set forward. But do you guys think that's true? Do you think Sonic Mania 2 is canceled? I won't talk any much further about it, but I do think that would make so much sense for them to make a second Mania or just more 2D games because they're much easier to pump out and it's a lower budget that's required for those games. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys that quick update. Not many people are talking about that. But once again, what do you guys think about all this crazy news? Do you think these leaks are true? Let me know down below in the comments. Make sure to follow all my social media and keep up to date with me by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Until I see you guys next time, I love reporting the news. We love talking about Sonic. Until I see you guys next time, see you later.